Alright, so you know what's been really bothering me lately is the fact that like artists and musicians and literary people, writers, we can't it's really hard to make it in this corporatized world of art. It's so disgusting, like when you really think about it, like fashion designers, like they're not even valued anymore. We treat them like their art ain't nothing. And then there's the musicians. We make fun of the SoundCloud rappers and the SoundCloud musicians, period, and we tell them that, they're trying to be this, they're trying to be that, but what they are trying to be is musicians, and I think they really deserve it. Like for example, Ariana Grande. I'm pretty sure Google said her net worth was like 40 million US dollars, and that's a crazy amount of money for one musician to have. You know what I mean? Like if you think about it, if there was like 80 other musicians, they could all have like 500,000 US dollars right now if there was 80 recognized musicians. And I'm not saying that Ariana Grande is like a bad person. I'm blaming her record label. Honestly, I think Ariana Grande is great. I love her. But I feel like there's probably more musicians out there that are so talented and great, but they just don't know the right people. They don't live in the right area. You know what I mean? Like someone living in Colorado might not have the same opportunities, or someone with very little money might not have the same opportunities to advance their musical career. And like we live in a STEM centered world. Like if you find pleasure in math and science and building and all that, you like are really probably you're doing all right, with your career. And I think, not all of you STEM people are great. We need you to make you make our medicine. Like you make us feel better when we're sick. You do a lot for us. The STEM people, they are really, they really do so much for us. But we I think people they don't even realize how like common art is. Like I'm looking around my room right now. Like look at that cat picture right there. That was by an artist. That was by an artist. That fabric on my curtains, that was done by an artist. That was an artist. This thing from the Disney movie is by an artist. That little Peppa Pig was crocheted by an artist. My bong was, done by an artist, a glass maker or whatever you call them, a welder. This table was made by a builder, but constructed by an architect, similar to my house. And then you got that seal over there. There's so much art in my room. This shirt was done by an artist. There is so much art in this world. This bong was done by an artist. It was done by me. Like, that's not even the most art in my room. There's just so much art in my room. Like, it's crazy. Like, look at this little thing. Music is so taken for granted nowadays. Like, we really take for granted what music is. Like, music is just so beautiful and so great, and it's so like uplifting and I think literature is like so underrated. Like I feel like our generation just doesn't read as much, and I've been reading so much because I just think we should really use our brain to its fullest extent. You know what I mean? I've been reading this little book. I've got a whole shoebox of books. I've got another book. I got this book, very insightful book, and I got this book the other day. I've got a few books written all over the house too, but I really love reading, and I really thank like all the writers out there. Like I really thank you for pushing through in this world where we've become more video centered than literature centered, and I really feel for you. Like you guys, you do so much. Like you really like even you guys just do so much, and I'm so grateful to that because we need people to write books. We need people to capture the times. We need people to write and escape. You know what I'm saying? We need that tranquility. We need to get away from our screens so much. And, like, you know, technology. Everybody, this is my saying, is everybody wants to live like royals. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the fancy stuff you get, that's not a part of you. That's just, like, I mean, it is a part of you. But all the fancy stuff you want, all the newest and newest new things you guys need, it's really more like you just want to live like royals. And all of us want to live like royals. Like, you can see how big my room is. It's a very nice room, and I really appreciate it. But it's important to differentiate that value, even if you're like an artist or a musician, you might be a musician and you don't value art, or you might be an artist and you don't value music, or you might be in STEM field and you don't value art or music or literature, all those components. You might not even value sportsmen, you know, like I just thought about that too. Like all these people, their passion is sports, and like all they can get is a job as a gym teacher, or like, you know, playing for a little softball team in the summer. You know, that's the only thing they can get. Whereas the people in the NFL, they're making tens and tens of millions of dollars, when we should be supporting our home teams, like actual home, like my city's team, my state's teams, rather than, you know, like the New England Patriots. Like, why do we do that? We should be supporting so many people. You know, we could be making such a good society, and it's so possible with all the money the U.S. has. But the U.S., all they want to do is just be toxic, like racist, toxic, sexist. You know, they do so much when they could be doing so much better. Like, you know, I was watching this thing about toxic charity the other day, and they were saying that it's a missionary trip to Africa to build like a house. It's about $250,000, whereas they could be spending $10,000 to give to the town to, you know, renovate themselves and get themselves, like, you know, to build a school. It costs 10 grand to give that town in Africa $10,000 to build like a school for students. And we could be doing that, right? Right? We could be doing that. But you see, the thing is, that's considered charity. So when the little, little church is writing out, you know, their expenses on charity events, that's $250,000 they spent on that event. They get that back. They get that back. And they could do 10,000, but they're not going to get as much back. And that's going to mean that the African communities get to uplift themselves. I can't get too into it because I could just go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about all the atrocities the U.S. does and commits to this day, and it really bothers me. But I'll talk about it eventually. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of knowledge out there on this stuff. It's a little overwhelming again. I really recommend this book, Hood Feminism by Miki Kendall. You know, it really just talks about, you know, how feminism doesn't talk enough about how we really need equality, period. Like, everywhere equality should be the norm. You know, so, like, yeah. This is my favorite torch.